Well, hello, Maumee Valley Presbytery friends. I'm Clint Tolbert. I'm pastor at First Pres Maumee, and if you know anything about me, you know I'm not a big fan of meetings. My attendance record at Presbytery meetings is less than stellar. I'm sorry, Matt. I'll work on that. So it might be a surprise to you that I'm inviting you to an all-day meeting, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, to talk about boundaries of all things. I'm as surprised as you that I find this so important, but it is something that I recognize now as incredibly helpful and important in the life of serving the church, to become more and more aware of the boundaries that we need to maintain for the sake of those we serve and for ourselves, and to become equipped so that we can navigate those boundaries. For it is not a simple black and white conversation whenever we're talking about boundaries. In Maumee Valley Presbytery, we have a boundaries training opportunity coming up at the end of this month, September 30th, and I really hope that you are making plans to join us. For there is a freedom I have found in maintaining helpful boundaries. You know, ministry is complicated enough, especially during this time of COVID and heightened anxiety around politics and everything else in the world. We don't need to complicate life and ministry even more by crossing boundaries. And so, when you come, you're gonna be able to think through, all right, what is this power I've been given by God, and how do I appropriately use it? We're going to learn about things like dual relationships and how those are unavoidable, but we ought to at least be aware when we have a dual relationship that might make things a little bit complicated. We're going to consider what it means to take care of ourselves so that we can serve God and God's people for the long haul. I hope you're making plans to join us. And in fact, if you haven't been trained in the past 3 years, we need you to be here. That's one of the things we have covenanted together in the life of the presbytery, to make sure that we are continually trained and equipped to maintain these boundaries. Now, if you have already gone through this training or one like it, I want to make sure you're aware of an additional opportunity that is available to you. We're calling this the 201 track. If you have not been trained, you need to go to the 101 track. If you have been trained, you ought to come to the 201 track. I'll be a part of leading that, and we're going to be going a little deeper into some of the most challenging parts of ministry, like how do you handle politics as a pastor? You know, everything is political. But we need to make sure we stay away from partisanship. How do we do that? And where is the line? Now, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about pastoral counseling. I'm sure you're aware that the need for counseling is skyrocketing among people, and you can't get in to see a professional counselor most of the time. And so people are starting to come to see us. So when do we engage, and how do we engage, and what do we need to be careful of? And lastly, our favorite, all of us, I know, social media. It's become, whether you like it or not, an absolute essential in ministry today, at least in my opinion. But how do you use it rightly? Boy, that's tricky. And we're going to be talking about that in the 201 tract of our boundary training time on September 30th. It's going to be here in the Maumee Church. There are links and instructions about registering that accompany this video. So if you haven't already done so, I'd invite you to go there, register, and spend time together as the presbytery, equipping yourself to serve God and God's people in greater and greater ways.